Andrew, you've got a team of design from UX, UI, and the wider kind of digital team. Can you just explain a little bit about what you do and how you head up that team and what your kind of mission is?
So we're a team of UX and UI designers, and recently also behavioural sciences have joined us, and we create the designs for mobile app, websites, application journeys, and emails.
So pretty much every digital communication going. So we've been working with you for about 2 years now, and I think the thing I noticed almost straight away was the amount that you've got to do in quite a short period of time. So I think you were given a lot of objectives to do in a space of a year initially. Going through a brand sort of digitisation refresh, decided between us that we needed to build out the sort of design system to smarten things up, make things consistent.
Yeah, we thought it'd be like a 3-month project.
Yeah, ended up being like a 9 to 12 months project.
Yeah.
But I think the key thing is things didn't slow down from the business. So new products were coming in, new tasks were being given to you. And I think we kind of sat down one day and said, we need to find a smarter way to try and speed things up.
Yeah, so when we sort of started, we had one app and we inherited a website that we couldn't do that much with. It was set in stone. So that the remit for the team was quite small. We weren't as big back then, but we still had a small remit. That changed quite quickly. So we have to look after the existing app and the online banking platform and the current website and the application journey. Whilst creating a whole new app based around a whole new digital identity, which was based around a brand refresh, a new website, potentially new online banking tools, new email systems, all of this sort of stuff very, very quickly.
Multiple teams as well.
Multiple teams.
Yeah, so we've got development or engineering, as we call it, Vanquis. So not only did we have an external team like us, we're kind of being onboarded.
Yeah,
your UX team.
Working with marketing teams, working with social media teams, working internally with our customer team, and our risk team, and our compliance team, and engineering teams, and product teams.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of moving pieces, and it's all come together very, very quickly. We've got to deliver a lot very quickly.
Yeah. So we got to a place where we'd done the digital branding, we had a really good design system being mapped out and created, and you were able to start designing the products. That was the whole point. I think we became aware where we had to start communicating this into the business because there were other teams you need to get involved. Yeah,
so we've got this new brand identity that's based around digital that we created. And we started to create these new designs for the app based on this whole new design language, which is beautiful. But then other teams have got to pick it up and use it. So this is where we decided actually we need a design system, because it's okay having a small set of designers working on something. They get to know it really, really well. But then you've got other teams like Tor and other agencies that we work with and other teams internally that need to start using this. And they weren't involved in it. They don't know it as well as we do. So this is where the design system came in. The sort of cohesive set of components and patterns and reusable modules and chunks, like Lego. It's like a Lego system that people can build things, and they know that whatever they build out of this system, it's going to be correct, and it's going to work, and it's going to be signed off, and it's gone through the audit process. It's all been tested with customers. And it worked fantastically well, but the thing that it didn't do for us, and we'll come on to this I guess now, is when it goes into engineering, you've suddenly got this other challenge of people can build designs very quickly with a design system, and they can iterate. That design system gets iterated. We have seasons that we release twice a year where the system is improved. The difficulty that we had is then working with engineering to make sure that the design system that everybody was using is cohesive and coherent with what's actually being built and going into customers' hands.
Yeah. Especially when you're making adjustments and improvements along the way. So there's been a number of times where I think we've said out aloud to the business that the design system's never finished.
Never done.
So we're always progressing it and improving it, and there's loads of new findings from an accessibility level and inclusivity level. I know we've chatted about that before. So we're constantly tweaking things. And it was trying to get that into change, into engineering, into the products really, really quickly and efficiently.
Yes.
So whilst we had this really, really great design system, which all the design team were adopting and using, and it was, how do we get that?
How do you get it built
quickly?
Yeah.
And I suppose that's when we started researching different methods, and first came across tokenisation, which I think we realised straight away it was going to be a game changer.
I think it was mind blowing.
Yeah, totally.
It was such an obvious answer to the question, but we haven't found it.
Well, yeah, because I think when we first looked at it, it was kind of like, this is kind of done in the dev world, in the engineering world, on a level with CSS, but it's the connection between design and dev that was going to be the game changer, because it was so separate before. Because
it solves that, this may get too detailed, but it solves that thing where you've got design and we're producing stuff constantly, and we know why we're changing it. And often it's very difficult to communicate why we're making changes, because we speak a different language. And then over here you got development, right?
Yes.
And we found, and this isn't just at Vanquis, this is everywhere that I've worked, there's this difficulty in getting your stuff built, because engineering it's expensive to do.
And they're normally time poor. They've got
loads of stuff to do, and designers, we go, can you just tweak this? It's a little tweak. But it's a little tweak that affects 500 pages of an app, and they need to make sure everyone is correct, and regression testing and all that sort of stuff. So development is expensive to do, and we're over here making all these changes to our designs and getting frustrated that we can't push that stuff out, because we know the benefit to the customer and the benefit to the business. But development is, sometimes this pipeline of it's got to go into a backlog, and then we've got to wait, and we're going, it's getting frustrated. So what the tokens allow us to do is it's just like, getting technical, it's just like CSS, right? Where we make our changes, all these visual changes, anything that you can see, we own in our design tool, and our design tool spits out these teeny bits of code that the platforms, the app, the website, the email systems, all that sort of stuff, read that code and adapt how they look and how they work, which means that we can make changes. Once they're signed off, we literally publish a JSON file, and that gets put into a CDN, and everything updates, right? You're off. And so the developers don't need to worry about changing the look and feel. They can worry about business logic and stuff they should be working on, the really complicated stuff. And we can worry about the look and the feel and the interaction design and the experience that we're giving the customer.
And how is that? Are you feeling the benefits of that already? I mean, I know it's early days, but
it's early days. But I think we're feeling the benefits in quite a few ways. The first one is in like the what's that term? It's like the potential. Knowing the potential for
on both sides, so they're both teams.
That's kind of getting people excited. But when you demo the tool to people and you demo the process, they get excited.
Was that one of the ways to get buy-in from the business? Because obviously we get this kind of thing, right? But you've got to find the budget to be able to implement something like this.
You do.
On quite a grand scale sometimes.
You need to sell it.
Yeah. So how was it? Sort of selling it into the business?
It was pretty quick. So, but because the way that I've just described it, it sounds like the development team's worst nightmare, which is this no code that's all over the blog.
Designers
world,
controlling everything.
Designers spit this thing out and it makes code, and engineers go, I'm not using that code, it's terrible.
Yeah.
And it isn't that at all. It's not producing any code. So there was a lot of skepticism initially. So we built a demo. And we showed, there's two demos that we did. One was the file that it spits out. So the developers could look at it and go, actually, we can completely work with that, so we're okay. And the second demo was was showing sort of senior stakeholders in the business the other benefit to this approach, which is how you can have these reusable patterns, these reusable modules in a design system, and you can click a button and the whole theme changes instantly because you have all these different token sets.
Yeah.
And so when we demoed both of those things, the business got on board really, really quickly.
Tokenisation was new to us, it was new to you. We had to implement it quite quickly, but there was a bit of R&D involved, kind of finding his way around it, what to do, what not to do, because we didn't really have a lot of time to get this wrong and mess around with this.
No.
But I think it didn't take as long as we thought it might have done. And I think because we know there's a way around it now, to do it again, we could easily apply this to any bit of the business or another brand.
Yeah. When we first discussed it, we thought this was going to take a long time. It was the opposite of the design system. That's not going to take very long, and it did. And with tokenisation, we thought this is a beast of it. It's really complicated.
Yeah. There was a bit of to get your head round in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
It was a bit how does this going to work? How do we maintain and control this? And how does this not get messy and overcomplicated? But I think once you've done that and you've figured that out, you simplify it again. And you go, well, actually, we can go with this amount now, and then we can add on to it, or we can launch the whole thing.
That's the thing, is because we thought we were going to have to do everything. And we had this big design system, so we could have just tokenized literally everything and gone huge. And we thought that that's what we needed to do.
Yeah.
And then we realized, actually, if we want to, we can make like just one token and start and then add over time.
Yeah.
And when these things like design systems and design token systems can sound complicated and expensive, and they can be as expensive as you want. But you should always start small.
Yeah, and if the team and the resource within the business is small, you have to do. There's no point rolling out something that is impossible to maintain because you've got no one there to maintain it.
No.
Andrew, thank you very much for giving us some insight.
You're welcome.
We'll do it again.
Yeah. Yes.
Cheers.